on your way. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Talk right up.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me? Awesome. Our third graders in the back, thumbs up if you can hear Mr. T. Awesome, great. Thank you very much. Oh, we are so lucky because it's overcast, but it's not raining, so far so good. Representative Duff, Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, thank you so much for joining us here for a very special occasion. It is always so heartwarming whenever we have an occasion here because our school is all about celebration. And we take a look at several legends here who started this gift, who left this gift for us, and we just wanted to let them know that we are here to continue. We're here to continue in sharing this gift for the future, and we are taking care of the place. And we are beyond honored to have everyone here. We love it here extremely much. We are here to celebrate a great man. His name was Mr. P, as you all know him, Arthur J. Perschino, and we are here because we want to make sure that his legacy lives on, and it lives on through all of you, the little children of CMS K-8. I just wanted to share a personal story with you about Mr. Perschino. When I first met him, I was a new principal here at CMS, and I was very nervous because over the summertime before I got here, I received many text messages through Facebook saying, congratulations, you're the new principal here, you have some big shoes to fill, for example, with Mrs. Libertor and Mr. P. And I knew that he was coming up to Norwalk because it was our 35th anniversary, and so he drives all the way up from New Jersey, and I met him, and I remember just shaking in my boots. I said, here I am. I'm a man of a certain age, but still I felt like a child because I was just so nervous. And when I saw him, all of a sudden, as you can all attest to, just everything melted away because he made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. And one of the things, we had many conversations afterwards, and one of the things that he told me was to make sure that I took care of this school for the children of the future, and I promised him that I would do so. Another very personal story I wanted to share with you was another time that he came here, and there was so much going on, and he was very quiet, and he was walking around, and I'm saying to myself, don't you know who's here? You know, this is a legend. And he just wanted to mingle with everyone else. And I told him, it was June 14th that day. I said, it's my daughter's birthday today. And I could tell that he was not so comfortable. He was in pain. And he really should have been sitting down. But he said to me, I want to meet your daughter. And there was so much going on. And we finally contacted her. We got her. And she walked up to him. And the first thing he did was to say, I'm Mr. P, and he gave her a kiss on the forehead. And I thought that I almost wanted to cry because it was just so genuine and loving and just a memory that I would never forget. And I always say that in the future, when I grow up, I want to be just like Mrs. Libertor and especially Mr. P. And so I promise you that I will help continue the tradition of making sure that this school is the best school for all the children here in Norwalk. If not, then Mrs. Scott will come after me, and I can't have that. So, again, welcome everyone. It's such an honor for everyone, for me to welcome you, and I'm going to pass this microphone over to, and I like to use the word legends, Mrs. Libertor and Mrs. Scott.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Mr. T. I am Dolores Scott. I am the founder and president of the Arthur J. Perschino Scholarship Fund. Everyone gave him big gifts, and I gave him a gift for both of us. And it's children are our future. And that's what we're working on now. That's the reason that you are here today. Normally we would be up at another place. But because of pandemic, I had no idea what I would do. So I had to enlist Lipitor. I had to enlist where is Miss Blanco. I was about to say Riley, because that's her maiden name. Everybody and her sister. We got together, got our heads together, and this is what we came up with. It's very hard with these scholarships, but you have to keep working at it. Now, I have another very personal thing that Mrs. not to cry. Mrs. Lipitor is going to read for me. You do not know I am having lots of problems with my eyes. So Mrs. Lipitor, which was our second principal here, she's going to read that for you. And later, I'll be back with a moment. Please, Mrs. Lipitor.
Thank you, Dolores. Just on a personal note, I was a fifth grade teacher at the time, and Dolores was working out in the first grade. And she said, I've got an idea. We should have, now this is when Mr. Perschino was still alive. And that's unusual. Usually you would do scholarships for people in memory. But anyway, she said, we need to have his spirit continue on in our future Columbus students when they graduate. So it was a group of parents and a group of staff members, and we met in the family room and decided to have this Arthur J. Perschino scholarship. And that was many, many years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but it was this lady who pulled us all together to do that.
Hold on. Remember I had my cast on up to here?
So I'm just going to tell you, and eighth graders, I'm so glad you're here because I want you to remember this day, because when you graduate from any of the high schools, I know it was Norwalk High School and Brian McMahon, but now we have like 6 high schools because we have different academies and everything. So no matter where you go in Norwalk, when you graduate from high school, I want you to remember this, and I want you to apply for this scholarship because we're going to keep it going to help you. The Arthur J. Perschino Scholarship Fund was created while Mr. P, as he was so lovingly called, was the first principal of Columbus Magnet School. This honor was bestowed upon him because of his dedication, enthusiasm, and love for his students, community, and nation. As the principal of Columbus for 18 years, Mr. P supported, encouraged, and inspired all students to be the best they could be through a variety of experiential learning. He believed we learn by doing, and the nationally acclaimed Young Astronaut Program was just one example of the educational experiences that he established where students developed skills that prepared them for the future. The scholarship was developed to support former Columbus students upon graduation with their future schooling. Recipients are chosen from the City of Norwalk Public High Schools, and to obtain the scholarship, the student must demonstrate need, leadership skills, and I know our 8th graders, Mr. Thomas has raved about you guys, and community service and a love for learning. And are you going to say any further words? Or are you finished? No. Because I was going to turn it over to you. You said it.
Yeah, pretty much because.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, okay. All right. Laura Scott will introduce a special guest.
Thank you, Mrs. Lipitor, for being my eyes. I shan't call you for a very long time just yet, but that's not true. I have a very special, 2 special people here today. And if I get a little choked up, it's okay. I'm going to introduce to you Helen Ike, the mother of Kevin Ike. Kevin's father, Mr. Ike, sits by our dear Senator Bob Duff. Would you please come up, Mrs. Ike? Kevin was a young man here at our school. He was a special gift to those two people, parents. God let us have him for 18 years. But he was here for a reason, and only that length of time. Because he opened the door, as his mother is going to tell you now, for so many children to go to school and just listen for the amount of money that was created in his honor for his legacy. Thanks be to God for letting us have Kevin, and thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Ike. Mrs. Ike, would you please give hi.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? I had heard about Columbus from friends and the advantages to being a student at this new magnet school. There were assistants in every class to aid both the teacher and the student. The class size was small and equal in gender and race. There was extra money given to this school by the government because of it being a magnet school. The teachers were trained in many ways to teach in a collaborative way. So I entered my youngest son, Kevin, into the lottery for Columbus Magnet School. When he was selected in the kindergarten class, we were excited for him, but also a little anxious as this school was quite a distance from our home. Kevin started kindergarten in the fall of 1982 and took the bus from day one. He was the first one picked up and the last one dropped off after 4 p.m. In spite of his daily journey, he was excited and happy to go to school, to learn and experience everything Columbus had to offer. He loved the many units of social studies that involved all the subjects in his class. He loved the Friday morning meetings in the gym and often asked me to attend whenever I was free. I was not working outside the home during those years, so I was able to volunteer regularly in many of his classes. I remember teaching songs to his kindergarten class when I came in on Thursday mornings, and playing math games with the children when the teacher was instructing small reading groups. I also remember helping with some of the shows, such as the circus with Tom Kretsch, as I was a former music teacher and loved to play the piano. I was happy to share these formative years with Kevin and was able to witness firsthand the benefits of my child's education in Columbus. As the years continued in Columbus, Kevin participated and loved the units of study, especially the market, the community, and many others. He was also in one of the first groups of the young astronauts with Mr. Perschino. The Columbus experience fostered and encouraged his love for learning, for community, and in essence, an equivalent of a laboratory class in life. The 6 years Kevin was at Columbus Magnet School became a strong and essential foundation for Kevin's future education and life experiences, taking him to Norwalk High School, where he became the co-valedictorian of the class of 1996. Among his many activities, Kevin was a member of the marching band, jazz orchestra, jazz ensemble, co-captain of the boys' tennis team, volunteer for the Norwalk Soup Kitchen, Save the Children Foundation, American Heart Association, and the St. Jerome Parish Youth Board member. From his graduation, in June of 1996, Kevin would just have 7 months to experience the joys in life we all take for granted. During the first week of second semester of his freshman year at Boston College, Kevin passed away from cardiac arrest while playing intramural basketball. We knew Kevin was a special person who touched the lives of many others in innumerable ways. However, we had no idea how great, how long, and how wide the reach of that touch in life was until Kevin died. We discovered the breadth and depth of that touch. In many ways, Kevin has been memorialized. The naming of intramural basketball trophies, CD and book dedications, a musical composition, the founding of the Boston College student-run Emergency Medical Service Organization, the naming of the youth room at his parish church, and the naming of the Norwalk High School Honor Society chapter in his memory. A college experience that would last but one semester, yet posthumously awarded the Nicholas Wood Leadership Award at BC. 25 years later, his picture and story adorn 3 college organization websites, reflecting the founding of the Boston College student-run EMS organization and scholarships in the Emerging Leader Program and Management School's Fulton Leadership Society at BC. Most important, the communities he had touched honored him by creating, growing, and sustaining the Kevin M. Ite Memorial Scholarship Fund, a 501c3 public charity, which promotes Kevin's spirit by recognizing students who exemplify the philosophies of ever to excel and being men and women for others. Since his passing, supporters of Kevin's fund have invested almost $3 million in gifts of education to over 180 students, primarily Norwalk High School graduates, to honor Kevin's journey in life and to promote his legacy. It is said the ancient Greeks did not write obituaries. They asked only one question. Did the person live with passion? The foundation created by his experience and education at Columbus instilled in Kevin the importance of living his life with passion. The passion of life with all its fun and beauty, and the passion of achievement for its satisfaction, yet always with a sense of compassion. You learn you do not measure a life by just accomplishments, rather by how they are accomplished. And it is not the breaths that you take that matters, but rather the moments that take our breath away. We all want to think our presence in this world has made a difference, opened a heart, and changed a life. Yet when the final curtain falls and our differences fade away, we concentrate on what really matters, not the prosaic words of an obituary, but the essence of a life. And in spite of all his accomplishments, Kevin was a young man who just wanted to be on the team. And that is why so many wanted to be on his. Kevin was determined and proud of what he was doing. But in doing something positive for himself, he never made himself bigger than the arena he was in. He was somebody who simply followed his heart, his beliefs, and his purpose in life, and in doing so, touched the hearts and minds of all those he met. I don't pretend the loss of Kevin for us was any more tragic than the loss of any parent's child, because there's no greater tragedy. The difference was, because of the way Kevin took people's breath away, his death impacted everyone he touched. During the evening of January 23rd, 1997, prior to leaving for his intramural basketball game, Kevin sent an email to me saying, "Mom, I'm in such a good mood today, and I don't know why." It would be his last communication as he passed away from cardiac arrest, literally as the final whistle for the basketball game sounded. A life destined to be limited to just 18 years, 1/3 at this institution, which formed who Kevin would become as an individual and as a member of his community. This year's Norwalk High School Marching Band is honoring Kevin by wearing a heart logo with his name and class year on the sleeve of their show shirts, marking 25 years of Kevin's passing and 25 years of his scholarship fund. How fitting this year's program is Dia de los Muertos, which celebrates the Mexican tradition of honoring friends and family members who have passed away, recognizing the continuum of life, including becoming a contributing member of the community. Preparing students to be a contributing member of their community is what Columbus School, its administration, and teachers have been dedicated to for all these years. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So I'm Jen Scanlon. For those who don't know me, I'm the proud assistant principal here at CMS. I started here in 2014, and at the time I was here, I got to meet Mr. P a handful of times. And anytime I'm out in the community and I have my Columbus shirt on or CMS, I get droves of people saying, "You work at Columbus? You work at CMS?" I had Mr. P, I had Miss Livertor, I had Miss Katie as my teacher. So it gives me such great pride to work here. I went to a Bank Street school myself as a child, so I know the vision that Mr. P had for this school, and I think of that all the time, and I hope that I can help continue to carry out his vision that he had here. I am very honored to introduce our next two speakers. I'm going to introduce two women who actually were students here, but they also were colleagues of mine, and they're my friends. So I'm going to introduce Miss Elise Grant Lake and Miss Katie Kirshner Gadial.
Hi everybody. It's been a minute since I've been on a microphone, so just let me know if you can't hear me and I'll scream and shout like I used to. So some of you may know me as Katie Kirshner, class of 1991 of Columbus School. I just had to do that math. Or Miss Katie, if you've been here for a while, my eighth graders. I taught fifth grade here for 11 years. Is this one? No? Okay. So, I taught fifth grade here for 11 years, and I consider Mr. P a mentor, a family member, a guide. He literally touched my life throughout so many different stages and phases of my life. I didn't come to Columbus as a kindergartner. I went to Rowayton School, and my mom heard about this place that was so magical. I feel like it's disconnected. It's all right. I'll use my teacher voice. You said you were going to show. Yeah. And I quickly, my mom heard about Columbus, and I got in first grade, and I immediately felt like I was home. And it was really clear that Mr. P, he told me once to call him Art, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know how, okay, no. So, but Mr. Perschino, or Mr. P, was like actual magic. He had real magic. And he was so deeply connected to everybody personally. The door, things were different then, but the door was always open to the school, to his office. knew the ins and the outs of everybody's life in such a happy, positive, deeply connected way. And he did things without people knowing. Like, he touched so many people without a big explanation around it. And I said this at his funeral, and I never stopped telling this story. Mr. P drove this very cute red Hindenburg, like a really cool car. And the license plate said Mr. P, and I really feel like he must have lived here part-time because it was never not in the parking lot. And he auctioned off one time during a holiday fair a night out at a restaurant and a ride in the car. And I was like, listen here, Mom, I don't care what it costs. Handle it. I'm going on the thing. I'm going. I didn't win. I was devastated. And he knew. And he took me out anyway. And I got to drive around in that cool car and have one-on-one time with him and really connect and begin to understand who I was and how I wanted to impact people based on just his existence, just his presence, just his encouragement, just his love, his true nature, and the gift that he was. And he wasn't just that way to me. He was that way to the teachers. Mrs. Scott, now that I'm sort of an adult, has told me stories of like they would be working here until 2 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for all kinds of things. Mrs. Libertor was always here working with him. This was really his mission and his vision was to take care of people and the community and let kids know that they could too be a gift. And his passion and dedication for families and children was really unmatched. I've never again met anyone like Mr. P, to be honest. He was an absolute legend. And every time, I get a little difficult to process that he's no longer with us here. And every time I look at the tie, I have a tie of his. He wore a lot of ties. He was a very fancy guy, and he wore a tie every single day. And I have one of the ties that I was given as a gift after he passed away. And I'm constantly reminded that he is the tie that bound our school to our community, and our kids to the teachers, and the teachers to the families. And he really united everybody in such an amazing way. So the fact that this scholarship continues to live on in his name, to let kids be reminded that they are worth it and that they have a chance and that they matter and that they still matter to us at Columbus is huge. And just, I'm really, really proud to still be standing here and taking part in this. So thank you so much for being here. I know, and get ready. Sue, if anyone can fix it, it's Sue Stroud. I got up there.
Okay, so my name is Elise Lake, used to be Elise Grant. Katie took some of my fire, so I'm going to try to sum up some other things that I have written here. But I have a lot of different memories. As a child, I was a very shy child, and that couldn't be with Mr. P. He would find a way to kind of bring that out of you. We learned very early how to speak in front of people because that opportunity was always given to us. And a memory that I have of him consistently is I feel like you always knew when he was in the hallway because he was singing a tune, singing a song, whistling it. I mean, like, his office was the place you wanted to be. And you know, when you think of a principal, you don't really want to go to the principal's office. But we all wanted to go to his office because it was just so much fun. He had games in there. He had just tons of things. There were still things that I have no idea what's in there, and I still wish I knew it was in there. But he was the type of person that made this place almost like a Disney World. It was a place you wanted to go from kindergarten all the way through to 5th grade. I remember that we had a pet fair here at school after hours, but I had just gotten a kitten, and I was so excited to bring it. And I set it all up, and I was all excited. I had a name for it. I had called it Samantha. And Mr. P came along and said, "Who's this?" And I said, "Oh, this is Samantha." And he was just holding the kitten for a while, investigating. And he leans over and he says, "I think it's Sam." So he had a way of helping you get to another place in a gentle way. No one knew that had happened. And then from then on, the cat was known as Sam. Another memory I have is that there was a skating night here. We had lots of night events, lots of cool. And my father was trying to skate with me and my brother, and he was trying to, at the time, dodge a kid. And that didn't work out, and he actually ended up spraining his ankle. And I was sad as a child, not for the ankle sprain, but because I had to stop skating. And all of a sudden, Mr. P just showed up out of nowhere and continued on with me while other angels took care of my dad and his ankle. So he's just someone that made me kind of rethink my career path in general, because that is why I ended up becoming a teacher, because everything I did brought me back to my teaching from Bank Street, learning here in this school. I remember going to college and telling other students and friends about experiences I had, and they were like, "What? You worked in a market? Like, what? You had a pet?" Like, just the things I got to explain, it was just like no other. And I had the lucky opportunity that now I get to work here as a teacher. So it's like I kind of get to have a piece of the magic for real. And now I have my daughter here, hopefully soon my son, and maybe the next one. But there's just a special juice about this place, and to have him have a scholarship that continues to hopefully hold on to that juice for students to continue their career path is just a phenomenal idea. So thank you for creating this.
Thank you so much, ladies. I'm honored to introduce our next speaker. Now, I've been here about 8 years, and I know even before I was here, our next speaker has always been such a huge supporter of Columbus. I know his grandchildren came here, so it is my honor and pleasure to introduce the Honorable Mayor Harry Willing.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for being here. As you heard, I'm Harry Rilling, and also a graduate of the Norwalk Public School System. I graduated Norwalk High School in the class of 1900 and oh so many years ago. So, first of all, I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Ike. You know, Kevin, just hearing his story over and over again, was an amazing young man, accomplished so much in the time that he had here. And the good that you have done for so many people in the city of Norwalk. You know, I say that when you invest in our children, you're going to get more return on your investment than you would from any stock market, bond, or any other investment that you can make. And you have shown by helping so many people, so many young people from Norwalk accomplish so much more because of your generosity. You know, but I'm sure that if you asked Mr. and Mrs. Ite, they'll say money is a great thing to help somebody accomplish things, but there's so much more that has to be part of that equation. So this box, I guess, you see behind me is brick and mortar. It's a place where young people can go, a place where teachers and principals and staff get to perform their magic. They impart their knowledge and their love on the children of the future. And it's because of the generosity of people like the Ites, because of the skills, knowledge, dedication, and love of teachers that young people can accomplish. And when they go out into the world, they make a difference. And that difference is because of the teachers. They can make a difference in Norwalk, in Connecticut, in the United States, and indeed in this global economy, any place around the world. So I just want to say thank you to the teachers, thank you to the staff, certainly thank you to the Ites for all that you do for the city of Norwalk, for our young people, and to help them succeed and develop to their fullest potential. Thank you very much.
Oh, and you know one thing we never forgot? Every time we have a fundraiser, guess what I do for you? I auction him off.
That's
I got a good price for him each time. That's our other one right over there, our senator. Our senator, I can auction off anybody for okay.
I just wanted to recognize the Reverend Tamara Moreland, who's here. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to CMS. And
You do what she says.
yeah. And rest assured, you'll be coming here a lot more often. So.
Yes, I will. I'm sitting here thinking about things we should have.
All right. I just wanted to have the distinguished state representative Bob Duff, who is Mr. Norwalk. I mean, you can see him walking his dog, or just basically patrolling the streets, and so jogging, and so I'd love for him to say a few words also. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me and even the opportunity to say a few words, which I did not expect, but I appreciate it. As I look out here to our kids and just think of the impact this scholarship is going to have on you, because you probably didn't know Mr. Perschino, but you will feel his impact, and you have felt his impact at this school since you started here. And the scholarship will also provide another means to feel his impact throughout your college career and even beyond that. As was just spoken by our two eloquent teachers here, you never know who's going to give you that jolt of passion that you have, or to bring out that passion that's in your stomach or in your gut. And somebody like Mr. Perschino, who I knew when I first became elected, was somebody who brings out that passion in you. Even somebody like me who was an adult, you come here and you're like, I really like this school. I love this place. And he just had that infectious energy that he just bestowed upon everyone when you were in his presence, whether it was young astronauts or whether it was just walking down the hallway, as you said. Prior to my being elected, I actually was a substitute teacher here a couple times, and in the music department and maybe a couple other places. It was a long time ago. But I remember just what a great place it was, and probably I was in my 20s, so if it wasn't so far from my house all the time, because I live in Cranberry where the Ites do, I might have been here a little bit more, but it was just such a wonderful place to be, and knowing Mr. Perschino just showed that passion and dedication that we see so much in our schools and in our education arena, especially here in the city of Norwalk. We have it all around us, and you all as students have that as well, just like Kevin Knight did. Just have that ability to have that education, to make magic, and to be able to show your passion to so many others. So it's such a pleasure. Thank you to Mrs. Scott, Mrs. Libertor, and others and Mr. Crutches and Mr. Thomas, and everybody who's been part of this scholarship opportunity in Mr. Perschino's memory. He is probably Mr. Norwalk. And somebody who will always be a part of all of us in our hearts, in our minds, and in this place for a very, very long time. Thank you so much.
right. As Dolores told you, we were unable to have a fundraiser event where you have like we used to have a brunch and a silent auction and everything because of COVID and the pandemic and everything. So Elaine Riley and her sister Joanne, Anne, I'm sorry, got the GoFundMe page going on Facebook, and Tom and Sandy Kretsch motivated people to contribute. And I'm very proud to say that Tom and Sandy said that they would donate, if we got to $5,000, they would donate another $5,000. So because of all of the efforts of Elaine and her sister and Tom and Sandy, we made our goal. So, yeah.
At this time, I'd like Elaine to come up. Thank you, Elaine, for everything. Please don't
And yeah, we'll call her. And now you can go straight home to your children. You don't have to stop at my house. And I'd like to say a word to Mr. and Mrs. French.
Okay, you gotta talk loud.
Okay. To both of you, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to my friend. Because, once again, you pulled us in. You pulled us in. And everything started working. So would you please? With all our love. And as I would always say to my first grade, boy, did you make my heart sing with great joy. When you offered us that money, it's going to help so many of our children. I thank you, and thank you to God for giving us more money.
Okay, how about if you guys step out in front? I'm going to read it out loud.
Yeah.
This is just a little token of our appreciation. A thank you award, October 5th, 2021, presented to Tom and Sandy Kretsch in recognition for your generous contribution, motivation, and dedication to the Arthur J. Perschino Scholarship Fund. Your substantial donation and kindness is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support and assistance in strengthening the AJP Scholarship for future CMS student graduates. Thank you very much. And how would you like to say it?
Okay, thank you very much for this kind remembrance. 41 years ago, I became a member of this pioneering project called the Columbus School Magnet School. It was sort of like setting sail, like Columbus did, on a journey, not knowing if the earth was flat or round, and a lot of people didn't believe the earth was round, but Columbus did. And I think the people who set forth on those days, those early pioneer teachers, led by Mr. Perschino, with Mrs. Libertor here as third grade, and Mrs. Scott as an assistant teacher, we all had visions of what the school might become. And standing here today, it's such a great, it warms my heart to see what it has become and continues to evolve and grow as. Yesterday, I was at a golf outing with Mr. Rillings for the Norwalk Senior Center down at...
to be in the office, stop.
So we were playing in the rain, and afterwards I went into the clubhouse, and there was this girl there. She said, "Mr. Kretsch." It was Julianne Stifler. She gives me a big hug, and we're having this really wonderful conversation. And she was a former student, and she's working down there. And she said, "Oh, I remember back back in October, a certain Count Dracula came to Columbus School, which was me, and I dressed up as the Count Dracula, and we made the gym into a Halloween maze and had so much fun. And so it's funny, everywhere I go, I have these people I meet that have these wonderful Columbus stories. And Helen and Chris, I want to share a light moment with you. And Helen was talking about the time she came in to play the piano, and we had a circus put on with, and Kevin was in kindergarten. And so I was working with her, and we were doing all these fun circus things. So we decided the final act would be the human cannonball. So we had these two boys, Kevin Knight and Kevin Noel, and they were both these little blonde-headed boys. So we had this idea. So Helen was playing the piano like this big drum roll. We put the lights out. We had a spotlight, and so we put Kevin Knight in this big garbage can thing, and said we were going to shoot him across the stage. So Kevin climbs in, and Helen's playing the music, and then the lights go off for a second, and the spotlight zooms to the stage, and Kevin Noel, who looks just like Kevin Knight, jumps out and runs off the stage, and the kid said, how did they shoot him across the stage like that? But anyway, there's just so many wonderful memories like that of this school. And I was so honored to be a member here. My wife was a wonderful school teacher in Norwalk for 37 years. And there's one of her students back there. And we feel like Norwalk, although we live in Westport, I feel like Norwalk is really kind of my home. I have such a connection to this town and to this school. And I really believe that this school gave me so much. I tried to give a lot to this school, but it gave me a lot back. And when the scholarship started for Mr. Perschino, and it was kind of languishing and moving along, Sandy and I said we'd like to try to give it a boost and keep it going, because that's what this school is about. It's about the continuation of things. And I think we were inspired by Helen and Chris's work in the ICE Scholarship and what they have done as a legacy for their son, and to create these opportunities. And in our own way, we tried to do something like that by adding something to this scholarship, and to get all of our alumni to pitch in and to give a little something so that we can keep the ball rolling for the future generations. So Sandy and I are just honored that we're able to do this and able to give something back, and that's something that means a lot to us. And you 8th graders, I hope that you take what you learned here at Columbus and carry on, and I know that you will find your way in the world. You will find your place in the sun, and I know that something that happened here will be a part of it, as it has for so many others. So thank you very much.
I have one thing to say. I know this is very good. I always brag about this one. I don't know if any other elementary school in Norwalk or anywhere in the state of Connecticut, because out of this Columbus Magnet School right here, we have 8 principals that were teachers here. Came from this school. 8 principals. I am very proud of them. Very proud. And so Mr. Fresh now is going to play.
Well, we thought I was asked to do a little version of our very special song called Our School of the Rainbow. It was written by a little girl named Stephanie DeMiglio, who was in
much, Irene. Thank you very much for all you do. Thank you.